The Silent Guardian. The Helios colony glowed like a pearl against the vast darkness of space, its biodomes reflecting starlight as the HSS Vigilant maintained its quiet patrol. Captain Sarah Chen stood at her command station, her weathered uniform bearing the simple insignia of Earth's Defense Force. The ship's worn exterior and seemingly basic systems had become a source of amusement for the Kelvarix Alliance vessels that frequently passed through this sector. Incoming transmission from the Kelvarix patrol ship, Captain Lieutenant Marcus Rivera announced from his communications station, trying to hide his weariness. This had become a monthly ritual. "Put them through," Chen replied, straightening her posture. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the towering figure of Commander Zextal, his crystalline features arranged in their usual expression of smug superiority. "Ah, the primitive guardians of Helios." Zextal's voice resonated with artificial warmth. "Still maintaining your watch with that charming antique. I must admire your species' dedication to preservation. Most civilizations would have retired such a vessel to a museum." Chen maintained her professional demeanor, though she noticed her first officer, Commander David Park, tighten his jaw slightly. "The Vigilance serves her purpose, Commander. Was there something specific you needed?" "Merely a courtesy call," Zextal replied, his crystalline form shimming with barely contained amusement. "Our sensors detected some concerning power fluctuations in your drive core. We wouldn't want Earth's only defense in this sector to suffer a catastrophic failure. Perhaps it's time to consider accepting our generous offer of technological assistance." Behind Chen, the bridge crew continued their work with practiced indifference. The power fluctuations were carefully crafted emissions designed to make the Vigilant appear far less capable than she was. The ship's true heart beat steady and strong, hidden beneath layers of technological camouflage that had taken Earth's best minds decades to perfect. "We appreciate your concern," Chen responded diplomatically, "but I assure you, our engineering team has everything well in hand." The Kelvarix commander's crystalline features fractured into what passed for a smile among his species. Of course. Though I must wonder, how does it feel, Captain, watching the great ships of the Alliance pass through your space, knowing you're relegated to operating such basic technology?" Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We find satisfaction in fulfilling our duty, Commander. The Vigilant may not be as impressive as your vessels, but she's reliable. Sometimes that's all one needs." "How charmingly primitive," Zextal mused. "Well, we won't keep you from your important patrol. Do try to keep that core containment stable. It would be so unfortunate if we had to mount a rescue operation." As the transmission ended, Chen turned to her sensor officer. "Did they take the bait, Lieutenant Zhang?" "Completely, Captain," Zhang replied, her fingers dancing across her console. "They were so busy showing off their new sensor suite that they didn't notice our quantum scanners mapping their entire ship. The technological database has been updated accordingly." Chen nodded, satisfaction flowing through her. The Kelvarix's patronizing attitude had served Earth well over the past decade. Their certainty of technological superiority had made them careless, prone to flaunting their latest advancements at every opportunity. Each encounter added another piece to humanity's growing understanding of Kelvarix capabilities. The Vigilant's worn exterior concealed quantum computers more advanced than anything the Alliance had developed. Her supposedly fluctuating power core contained containment fields that would revolutionize energy generation, once humanity decided to reveal them. Even the simple holographic communicator they used to speak with the Kelvarix masked communication technology that could pierce subspace itself. "Set course for the colony's far side," Chen ordered. "Standard patrol pattern." As the Vigilant moved with deliberate care, appearing to labor slightly against the stellar winds, Chen reflected on the reports from Earth Command. The Kelvarix expansion had grown more aggressive in recent months. Their certainty of technological superiority over the primitive human worlds was leading them down a dangerous path. Someday soon, that certainty would be their undoing. But for now, the Vigilant would continue her patrol, playing the role of an outdated guardian while hiding her true nature. Chen and her crew would endure the mockery because they understood something the Kelverics had forgotten in their rush to technological supremacy. True strength lies not in showing your power, but in knowing when to hide it. The stars streaked by as the Vigilant continued her patrol, her true power humming quietly beneath her scared hull, waiting for the day when humanity would finally show the galaxy exactly what they had been hiding all along. First blood. The emergency alert shattered the routine of the Vigilant's night shift. Captain Chen had barely closed her eyes in her quarters when the ship's AI brought her to full consciousness with a priority alert. Multiple Kelverics warships detected approaching Helios Research Station Alpha, the AI reported as Chen rushed to the bridge. Energy signatures indicate weapons are charged. The bridge crew snapped to attention as she entered, Commander Park already coordinating defensive preparations. 3 Kelverics destroyers, he reported. They're not responding to hails from the research station. Time to intercept, Chen demanded, sliding into her command chair. 8 minutes at standard drive, John replied from the helm. 3 if we drop the pretense. Chen's mind raced. The research station housed over 300 civilians, scientists, and their families. The Kelverics had never been this bold before. Battle stations. Lieutenant Rivera, notify Earth Command. Zhang, give me everything the Vigilant really has. The ship's engines roared to life, their true power unleashed for the first time in years. The vessel shot through space like an arrow, its supposedly antiquated systems revealing their true nature. On the tactical display, the Kelveric ships appeared as bright points of light, bearing down on the defenseless research station. Captain, Park's voice was tight with concern. They're opening fire on the station. The first shots from the Kelveric ships struck the station's outer research pods. Emergency force fields flickered to life, but they wouldn't hold long against sustained fire. Get me shipwide, Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the fury building in her chest. All hands, this is the captain. For years we've hidden our true capabilities, endured mockery, and waited. That ends today. We will not allow civilians to die for the sake of our deception. Stand ready. The Vigilant dropped out of faster-than-light travel between the Kelveric ships and their target. Gone was the pretense of being outdated. The ship moved with lethal grace, its hull shimming as advanced shield systems activated. Kelveric's vessels, this is Captain Chen of the HSS Vigilant. Cease fire immediately, or we will respond with lethal force. The response came in the form of plasma torpedoes launched from all 3 destroyers. They expected the shots to tear through the Vigilant's supposedly primitive defenses. Instead, the torpedoes splashed harmlessly against quantum-enhanced shields that shouldn't have existed on such an obsolete vessel. Their sensors are trying to make sense of our defenses, Rivera reported, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. They're calling for reinforcements. Not today, Chen replied. Execute Electronic Warfare Suite Alpha 7. Let's show them what else this museum piece can do. The Vigilant's hidden systems reached out across space, shutting down the Kelveric ship's communication arrays with surgical precision. Their supposedly superior technology proved vulnerable to attack vectors they'd never imagined possible. Target their weapons arrays, Chen ordered. Minimal force. Show them exactly what they've walked into. The Vigilant's main gun spoke, not with the crude plasma weapons the Kelverics expected, but with focused quantum beams that slipped through their shields like they weren't there. The shots struck with pinpoint accuracy, disabling the destroyer's weapon systems without compromising their hulls. By the void, one of the Kelveric's captains breathed as his image appeared on the command screen. What are you? We are exactly what we appear to be, Chen replied calmly. The guardians of humanity's worlds. You were warned not to mistake our restraint for weakness. Prepare to be boarded. Your crews will be taken into custody for attacking a civilian installation. The aftermath kept the Vigilance crew busy for hours, as rescue teams helped evacuate the damaged sections of the research station. Chen coordinated with Earth Command. The decision had been made. Humanity's facade of technological inferiority would be gradually lifted. In her ready room that evening, Chen recorded her log. The Kelvarix's attack on Helios Research Station marks a turning point. Their arrogance led them to believe they could strike at civilians with impunity. Instead, they've given us reason to begin revealing our true capabilities. Earth Command believes the Kelvarix will respond with increased aggression. Wounded pride makes for dangerous enemies, but they've lost the advantage of our perceived weakness. The next time they face an Earth ship, they won't know what other surprises we've been hiding. As she finished her log, Chen studied the tactical analysis of the brief battle. The Kelvarix ships had fought exactly as expected. They'd never adapted their tactics because they'd never needed to before. Their certainty of superiority had become their greatest weakness. The Vigilant resumed its patrol, its scared hull now a reminder not of human technological backwardness, but of the danger of underestimating an opponent. As the ship passed the recovering research station, Chen knew that this was just the beginning. The Galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength lay not in the technology they displayed, but in knowing when to keep their true power hidden. The Hidden Fleet. Word of the Vigilant's victory spread through Kelvarix space like a shockwave. In the great crystalline chambers of the Alliance High Command, tactical displays showed a rapidly changing strategic situation. The humans, long dismissed as a quaint civilization barely worth monitoring, had revealed technological capabilities that should have been impossible for their level of development. On the Vigilance Bridge, Captain Chen watched the tactical display with growing concern. The Kelvarix response had been swift and predictable. They had mobilized their border fleets, moving ships from dozens of sectors toward human space. Their wounded pride demanded a show of force. Earth Command Transmission, Priority 1, Rivera announced. Admiral Santos' hologram appeared on the bridge, her expression grave. Captain Chen, I trust you've seen the Kelvarix fleet movements. Yes, Admiral. They're repositioning for a show of force. More than that, Santos replied. Our deep space sensors indicate they're mobilizing for a full military operation. They mean to put humanity in its place. Fortunately, we've been preparing for this possibility for decades. Chen's eyes widened as new data streamed across her tactical display. Across human space, seemingly abandoned shipyards were powering up. Orbital platforms that had appeared to be simple trading posts were revealing their true nature as military installations, and in the depths of space, hidden fleets were dropping their camouflage. Operation Ghostlight is now active, Santos continued. The Vigilance actions have given us the justification we needed. You're to rendezvous with the 6th Fleet at these coordinates. It's time to show the Kelvarix exactly what they've been mocking all these years. The Vigilance engines hummed as they pushed to full power, their real full power, and accelerated toward the rendezvous point. Chen watched with pride as her crew operated with practiced efficiency, no longer having to maintain the pretense of technological inferiority. They arrived at the coordinates to find space seemingly empty. Then, one by one, advanced human warships dropped their stealth fields. The sight took Chen's breath away. Dozens of vessels, each as advanced as the Vigilant, had been hiding in plain sight. Some disguised as cargo ships, others simply invisible to standard sensors. Admiral Santos's flagship, the HS Athena, decloaked last. The massive vessel had been operating for years under the guise of a civilian deep space mining platform. Now its true form was revealed, a masterpiece of human engineering that made even the Vigilant seem primitive by comparison. The Kelvarix believed they caught us by surprise, Santos addressed the assembled fleet commanders. They think the Vigilant was a single advanced ship, a lucky breakthrough. They don't realize that we've been preparing for this moment since our first contact with their kind. Tactical displays showed the approaching Kelvarix fleet, 50 ships strong, led by their most advanced dreadnoughts. They moved with absolute confidence, certain of their technological superiority. Their arrogance blinds them. Santos continued. They see what they expect to see, a primitive species struggling to match their advancement. Even now, they believe this will be a simple operation to remind us of our place in the galaxy. Chen studied the tactical data flowing across her screen. The Kelverix fleet's formation was aggressive but predictable. They had never needed to develop complex tactics because their technological advantage had always been overwhelming. All ships, battle stations, Santos ordered. Remember your training. We've spent years studying their tactics while hiding our capabilities. Now we show them the cost of underestimating humanity. The human fleet moved into formation with a precision that would have shocked the Kelverix commanders. Ships that were supposed to be relics of a primitive civilization demonstrated maneuvers that should have been impossible. "Captain," Jean called from her station, "Kelverix fleet will be in range in 10 minutes. Their communications indicate they're preparing to offer us terms of surrender." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "I imagine they are. Status of our new weapon systems. Quantum phase cannons charged and ready," Park reported. "Shield matrices at full power. All ships reporting ready for combat operations." The first shots from the Kelverix fleet were designed to intimidate, a barrage of plasma torpedoes that would overwhelm primitive shields. Instead, the human fleet's advanced defenses absorbed the attack without effort. "Return fire," Santos ordered. "Show them what humanity's been hiding." The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for generations. The human fleet moved like a single organism, employing tactics and technologies that the Kelverix had never imagined possible. Ships that appeared to be damaged or destroyed would reappear from different vectors. Advanced electronic warfare systems turned the Kelverix's own technology against them. In her command chair, Chen watched as decades of preparation and deception finally bore fruit. The Kelverix fleet, faced with an enemy they didn't understand, began to fall into disarray. Their formations broke apart as they encountered weapons they had no defense against. "They're retreating," Rivera announced as the remaining Kelverix ships turned to flee. "Let them go," Santos ordered. "They need to report what they've seen here. The galaxy needs to understand that humanity's appearance of weakness was a choice, one we no longer need to make." As the Kelverix fleet vanished into faster-than-light travel, Chen reflected on how quickly everything had changed. The facade of technological inferiority that humanity had maintained for so long had been stripped away, revealing the true strength that lay beneath. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had shown that they would be a major force in shaping its future, not through displays of overwhelming power, but through patience, preparation, and the wisdom to know when to reveal their true strength. Breaking point. The Kelverix High Command had never experienced defeat in living memory. Their response to the human fleet's victory was swift and ruthless. Within days, they had recalled ships from every corner of their empire, assembling the largest fleet in their history. Captain Chen stood in the Athena's war room with Admiral Santos and other fleet commanders, studying the holographic display of Kelverix fleet movements. The enemy was gathering their forces for what they clearly intended to be a decisive strike. "They're consolidating their forces here." Santos highlighted a sector near the border of human space. 300 ships, including 5 of their super dreadnoughts. Intelligence suggests they've been working around the clock to develop countermeasures against our revealed technologies. But not against what we haven't shown them yet, Chen observed. Santos nodded grimly. "Exactly. The Kelverix still believe they've seen the extent of our capabilities. Their pride demands that they respond to their defeat with overwhelming force." The holographic display shifted, showing the disposition of human forces. What had appeared to be a scattered defense network was revealing its true nature. Orbital platforms transformed into fortress stations. Civilian ships shed their disguises, revealing advanced warships. And from the depths of supposedly empty space, more ships emerge. "The Kelverix think they're preparing a surprise attack," Santos continued. "In reality, they're walking into a trap centuries in the making. Humanity has been preparing for this moment since we first detected their signals in deep space, long before official first contact." Chen studied the tactical projections. "They'll target our civilian populations first. They'll want to demonstrate the cost of defying them." which is why Operation Shadowfall is now in effect. Santos responded. Every human world they think is vulnerable has defenses they can't imagine. Every target they think is critical is a carefully crafted decoy. The assembled commanders spent hours reviewing their roles in the coming battle. The Kelverics would expect them to defend key strategic positions. Instead, humanity would draw them into carefully prepared killing grounds, using their own arrogance against them. 3 days later, the Kelverics' fleet arrived exactly where humanity's strategists had predicted. Their massive armada dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect attack formation, their weapons primed to deliver a devastating lesson to the upstart humans. The first wave of their attack struck what appeared to be vulnerable colony worlds. Their sensors showed minimal defenses, primitive shield technology. Their ships moved in confidently, preparing to demonstrate the price of defiance. Instead, they found their weapons absorbed by defense systems far beyond their understanding. Hidden installations activated, trapping entire squadrons in gravitational fields they couldn't escape. What looked like simple communications satellites revealed themselves as weapon platforms that cut through their most advanced shields. Multiple Kelveric ships reporting critical systems failure, Rivera reported from his station on the Vigilant. Their electronic warfare defenses are collapsing under attacks from frequencies they didn't know existed. The Kelveric's fleet's formation began to break apart as they encountered weapons and defenses they had never imagined possible. Ships that appeared on their sensors as primitive human vessels suddenly revealed themselves to be technological marvels beyond their comprehension. "They're trying to regroup," Santos observed from the Athena's bridge. "Prepare to execute Phase 2. Across the battlefield, human ships began employing technologies that the Kelverics had thought impossible. Vessels seemed to exist in multiple places at once, quantum field generators creating confusion in their targeting systems. Advanced AI systems predicted and countered their tactical moves before they could execute them. The Kelveric super dreadnoughts, the pride of their fleet, found themselves outmaneuvered by ships a fraction of their size. Their supposedly impenetrable shields fell to weapons they couldn't even detect. Their most advanced sensors were blinded by countermeasures they didn't know could exist. "Their flagship is hailing us," Rivera announced. The supreme commander of the Kelveric's fleet appeared on the communication screens, his crystalline features showing an emotion rarely seen in his species: fear. "What are you?" he demanded. "How is this possible?" Admiral Santos' response was calm but firm. "We are humanity. We appeared weak because we chose to. We stayed hidden because we chose to. Now you face us at our full strength because you left us no choice." The battle continued for hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Kelveric's fleet, for all its size and power, was fighting an enemy that had spent centuries preparing for this exact conflict. Every countermeasure they attempted had been anticipated. Every tactic they employed had been studied and prepared for. As the remaining Kelveric ships retreated in disarray, Chen watched from the Vigilance Bridge with a mixture of pride and sadness. The deception that humanity had maintained for so long had served its purpose, but the cost of its revelation had been high. "Send to all ships," Santos ordered. "Stand down from battle stations. Begin search and rescue operations for damaged Kelveric's vessels. We'll show them that humanity's strength lies not just in our ability to fight, but in our capacity for mercy." As rescue operations began, Chen recorded in her log, "The Kelverics came seeking to put humanity in its place. Instead, they learned that appearances can be deceiving, and that true strength often lies hidden beneath a carefully maintained facade. The galaxy will never be the same after this day, and humanity's role in it will be very different from what anyone expected." Dawn of Understanding. The Great Hall of the Kelveric's High Council had never hosted another species before. Its crystalline walls, designed to amplify the natural resonance of Kelveric speech, now witnessed a historic gathering. Captain Chen stood beside Admiral Santos as part of the human delegation, watching the Kelveric's leaders struggle with their new reality. Supreme Chancellor Vextrol, his crystalline form dimmed with fatigue, addressed the assembled leaders. For 10,000 cycles, the Kelvarix Alliance has stood as the pinnacle of technological achievement in known space. We believed our understanding of the universe was supreme. The humans have shown us the cost of such certainty. The human delegation had arrived not on warships, but on vessels that finally displayed their true nature, elegant combinations of art and technology that made even the Kelvarix Council chamber seem primitive by comparison. It was a deliberate choice, Santos had explained. The time for hiding their capabilities was over. Your fleet admiral tells us, Vex Troll continued, that during the rescue operations following the battle, he discovered something extraordinary. Would you share it with the Council, Admiral Santos? Santos stepped forward, her uniform bearing the scars of recent combat. During the rescue operations, we found that many Kelvarix ships had been attempting to develop countermeasures to our technology, even as they fought. The creativity and ingenuity displayed, even in defeat, was remarkable. It showed us something important, that our peoples are more alike than different. The council chamber hummed with the crystalline equivalent of murmurs. Chen watched as the Kelvarix leaders processed this unexpected praise from their conquerors. But how? One of the council members demanded. How did you hide such advancement from us for so long? Because you saw what you expected to see, Chen answered, stepping forward. Your certainty of superiority became a shield we could hide behind. Every time you mocked our primitive ships, you gave us another opportunity to study your technology, to prepare our defenses, to perfect our deception. The council chamber fell silent as images appeared in the air. Decades of encounters between human and Kelvarix ships. Each meeting that the Kelvarix had dismissed as routine now revealed its true purpose. But why? Vex Troll asked. Why maintain such an elaborate deception? You could have dominated us from the beginning. Santa's response was measured. Because humanity learned long ago that true strength lies not in domination, but in understanding. We hid our capabilities not out of fear, but because we hoped to learn who you truly were before revealing ourselves fully. And what did you learn? The question came from a younger council member, their crystalline forms still bright with energy. We learned that beneath your arrogance lies great potential, Chen replied. We saw how your people adapted, how quickly you developed new technologies when challenged. We saw your scientists' dedication, your engineers' creativity. We saw a people who could be either great allies or terrible enemies. The images in the air shifted, showing the rescue operations after the battle. Kelvarix and human crews working together, each learning from the other as they saved lives and repaired ships. Today, we offer you a choice, Santos announced. The human fleet could continue its advance. We could dismantle your empire world by world. Or, she paused, letting the alternative hang in the air. Or, Vex Troll prompted, or we could forge something new. A partnership between our peoples, based not on dominance and submission, but on mutual respect and understanding. Your technology, combined with ours, could achieve things neither of us can imagine alone. The council chamber erupted in discussion, crystalline forms resonating with multiple frequencies of debate. Chen watched as the Kelvarix leaders faced perhaps their greatest challenge, learning to see another species as equals. Finally, Vex Troll raised his hand for silence. You have humbled us, humans, not just through superior technology, but through wisdom we didn't know we lacked. The Kelvarix Alliance accepts your offer of partnership. The ceremony that followed would be remembered for generations in both cultures. The signing of the Helios Accords marked not just peace between humans and Kelvarix, but the beginning of a new era in galactic history. Later, on the observation deck of the Vigilant, Chen stood with Santos watching the combined fleet of human and Kelvarix ships preparing for their first joint mission. It's strange, Chen mused, seeing our ships flying alongside theirs without having to hide what we are. Santos nodded. The greatest victory isn't in defeating an enemy, but in turning them into friends. The Kelvarix needed to learn that true strength comes in many forms, including the strength to admit when you're wrong. As the fleet moved out, Chen thought about the long journey that had brought them here. The years of hiding, of careful preparation, had led not to the subjugation of an enemy, but to the birth of an alliance that would reshape the galaxy. The Vigilant's engines hummed with their true power as they took their place in the formation. No more deception, no more hiding. Humanity had revealed its strength not to dominate, but to build something greater than either civilization could achieve alone. The stars stretched before them, full of new possibilities, as human and Kelveric ships ventured forth together into the unknown. They had learned that the greatest power lies not in technological superiority, but in the wisdom to know how to use it, and when to reveal it.